As the story continues, Rudo angrily confronts Zanka due to their misunderstandings. Zanka is still in shock while analyzing the power and ability of Rudo, who is turning everything and anything he touches into a jinky using his gloves. Rudo is still holding the pipe that he just grabbed from the trash and alley, and he turns it into a weapon. Zanka laughed as he realized Rudo's ability and also understood now that Engine called Rudo a prodigy because it's a cheat, an ability to turn anything into jinky. He insisted that Rudo is just a mere genius and put his stick on the floor. He finished explaining that even Rudo is a mere genius or prodigy, Rudo is no match for him, who is a super ordinary guy. Then he raised his hand as his surrender to Rudo. Rudo is clueless about what Zanka is trying to explain because it is different from his actions. While Rudo is trying to figure out what Zanka is trying to do, something comes from above, and it's rushing towards the direction of Rudo. Rudo was shocked as he saw the stick of Zanka come from the sky and slam towards the ground in front of him. He can't believe and can't understand when Zanka started to attack and throw his stick. In the blink of an eye, Zanka got near Rudo and grabbed his stick, which is now in front of Rudo. The boy was surprised by the attack and didn't know how to dodge it because his brain was still processing when Zanka started to attack him. A powerful blow was released by Zanka, and he hit Rudo on the face using the stick that was earlier on the ground. Rudo flew due to the power of Zanka's attack, and he didn't have time to dodge anymore. As Rudo flew in the air, Zanka didn't stop attacking the boy who was now in midair. Zanka started spinning his stick in full force, and Rudo saw it with his very own eyes. He knew that it would be painful if he were hit by that. Zanka unleashed a powerful and unstoppable hit using his stick. For him, Rudo is a bit slow to catch on as a genius. Rudo can't dodge the attack, and he is just defending himself using his hands. He is protecting his body and face using his hands, and he can't attack because of the continuous attack from Zanka. Zanka kept mocking him that just having many jinki is the only thing great about Rudo. Zanka added that his jinki is nothing more than a stick and keeps attacking Rudo, who is now completely mad because of what Zanka said earlier, and also because he can't fight back due to Zanka's attack. Rudo rushes towards Zanka in full force after Zanka's attack, using his jinki, which is a stick. As Rudo tried to attack Zanka, it was unsuccessful because Zanka swiftly dodged him, causing him to just slip away. However, even though he didn't hit Zanka directly, something was left in the face of Zanka. The guy didn't notice it, and as soon as he dodged the boy's attack, he immediately attacked it using his stick and smashed it to the ground. Rudo is now facing the ground because of the attack by Zanka. For Zanka, Rudo's attack is just useless, and the boy is just scum with an ability. He kept mocking Rudo while the boy was lying on the ground. Suddenly, he noticed something on his face and checked it by himself while asking Rudo what it was on his face. He wipes it and smells it to check what's the thing on his face. He was stunned and disgusted as he smelled it and realized what the thing was on his face. He shouted at Rudo, who was now trying to stand and fight back. Zanka asked Rudo if he's serious about fighting him using the weapon he is using. However, Rudo is so persistent and doesn't care about what weapon he is using. Rudo stood up immediately because Zanka was busy checking the thing on his face, and when Zanka saw the thing that Rudo was holding, he was surprised that it was a plunger. Rudo is so clueless about why Zanka is so concerned about the thing he is holding, because he didn't know what a plunger is. Zanka tries to explain to Rudo what a plunger is. What with the plunger is that Zanka is so scared of. However, before Zanka finished his explanation, Rudo shouted, insisting that he stop messing around and talking nonsense with him because for Rudo, it is now his turn to trash Zanka. Rudo started swinging the weapon he was holding, which was a plunger full of something. As Rudo swung to attack, Zanka carefully dodged the plunger and the things on it. Rudo swung it in full force, and Zanka crouched to dodge it and asked Rudo to watch out. Together with the plunger, there was something that flew as Rudo swung it. In Rudo's mind, the plunger he used as a weapon is working because at first, he can't understand what's wrong with Zanka because when he began using the plunger, Zanka started to freak out, even though he didn't know what that thing was he was holding. Zanka started running, and Rudo is chasing him. The situation changed the moment Zanka saw that Rudo was using the dirty plunger as a weapon. While Zanka is running and Rudo is chasing him, he's asking Rudo to stop it and insists that the boy shouldn't be waving the plunger around. Zanka can't attack or even defend himself because he keeps on swinging the plunger. Even Zanka is asking Rudo to listen to him and stop, but Rudo didn't listen and kept on chasing Zanka while swinging the plunger. As Rudo swung the plunger, the things inside its tip started to fly towards Zanka. In the end, the things on the plunger went to Zanka's clothes, and they became dirty and smelly. Zanka shouted loudly as his clothes got dirty because of the things that Rudo threw at him using the plunger. Because of that loud sound that Zanka created, a vehicle suddenly stopped in front of them, and Rudo got confused about what the thing in front of him was. The driver of the vehicle started to open a window, and Rudo was surprised to see Engine, who thought that the two were already friends. He is so happy seeing that the two already get along with each other. Rudo was clueless about what Engine was trying to say about them, because they are not friends and they are not trying to get along. Zanka is still lying on the ground because his clothes got dirty. The two entered the car, and they started going. Engine started to drive the car and travel with the two. Engine is laughing because of the two, who are now explaining to him everything that happened, from how they met to how they fight. The man can't stop laughing while Rudo is so clueless, and Zanka is so disappointed in what happened to his clothes. Engine can't believe that two were fighting while turds were flying around. He had never heard of anything like that in his whole life. Inside the car, Zanka is about to cry for thinking that it's such a disgrace over some turd, while Rudo is thinking that he was fighting with poop while he's being so confident. Engine is trying to hold back his laughter while trying to explain to Rudo that Zanka is sort of a young master down in the abyss, and is getting hit with a poop is such a disgrace. While Engine is explaining why Zanka is so sad about the turd on his clothes, someone is laughing inside the car, even though Engine and Rudo are not laughing about what happened. Zanka stopped the person who was laughing at him, and it caught the attention of Rudo. There's someone at the back of the car, and Rudo can't see the person because it's only showing its feet. Engine suddenly explained to Rudo that it turned out to be a pretty interesting first meeting with Zanka, who will be his mentor, and Rudo was shocked by what he heard from Engine. As Zanka heard the Engine, he stopped complaining about his clothes. The Engine continues explaining to Rudo that Zanka's the best giver in handling the jinky among the janitors, and Rudo will learn a lot from Zanka. Because of what Engine said, Zanka was shocked, and what Engine said kept repeating in his mind. He was happy that Engine acknowledged him, and while Zanka was trying to hide his happiness, the person at the back of the car spoke, which caught the attention of Zanka and Rudo. They ask when the person gets there. The person at the back of the car lying down is a girl who is pretending to sleep. It's Ryu, a young teenage girl of average height, with a slender figure and pale skin. She has long, messy, red hair often tied up in a sideways loop, with thick, long eyelashes of the same color framing green eyes. Ryu started to sit down, and it caught the attention of Rudo. It makes Rudo turn his head towards the girl while trying to ask Rudo, because Ryu is kind of curious about the prodigy boy, Rudo, who is now surprised by the girl. The girl behind the car leaned towards Rudo and asked the boy if his name was Rudo. The boy was shocked and confused about the action of the girl. Rudo can't understand why the girl wants to know if he is Rudo. The boy can't answer Ryu as the girl asked his name. In his mind, he is trying to ask if the girl is a janitor too, like Engine and Zanka. Ryu started to climb into the chair and play with Rudo's hair. For her, Rudo's hair is awesome, and she even asked if Rudo dyes it. The girl kept on touching Rudo's hair, so Rudo couldn't move. Rudo's eyes widened because he's being touched by a woman, and this is the first time that a woman or girl has messed with him. Rudo is trying to tell Ryu that he didn't put a color on his hair, and it's just natural. Rudo can't believe that in the underworld, a girl is touching him. Engine caught their attention, as it was already time to head out to their home. Zanka is now in a good mood. Ryu is busy with Rudo's hair, and Rudo almost passed out because of the touching of Ryu. They entered the janitor's headquarters already, and Engine is still driving towards the place. As the story continues, the group enters the compound or the janitor's headquarters using their vehicle. The headquarters looks like a usual place in the abyss. They enter a secure door, and as they enter, there's a way going down as they continue to travel towards the headquarters. They travel below the ground through the tunnel using their vehicle, and as they reach the end of the tunnel, they start to get out of the vehicle. The headquarters is so secure, that's why they need to travel inside it. Each of them leaves the vehicle and checks the place, and there's Engine, who helped Rudo fight the aberrant beast, and Zanka, who is now cleaning his clothes, who will be Rudo's mentor. Ryu started to leave the vehicle, and the only one left inside the car is Rudo, who is checking the surroundings first before he leaves the car. Rudo was surprised to see the headquarters, and he was welcomed by Engine. His hair was ruffled by Ryu, and he was so amazed at what he saw outside the vehicle. He slowly leaves the car and comes with the Engine. They had already reached the main building of the janitor's headquarters, and it looked like a normal place in the city, but it was built from scraps. It has the same logo on the clothes of Engine and Zanka. Engine, Zanka, Ryu, and Rudo enter the building. The young boy, Rudo, roams around with his eyes to check everything, and they start walking inside. They get closer to the receptionist, and there's a tall and slim woman with dark skin, yellow eyes, and white hair in a partially unkept buzz cut. Her glasses are connected by a beaded chain to her collar. Ryu says goodbye to Rudo, and they will see each other later since all of them, except Rudo, will go. The young boy Rudo thinks that he is being pushed around again as the other go, and him being left. Before Engine left, he introduced Rudo to the receptionist, Semiu. He explained that before Rudo could become a janitor, Semiu had to examine and evaluate him. Engine also explained Semiu's abilities. Out of nowhere, Semiu moved fast and swung her fork towards Rudo's face, which made the boy terrified. It's so quick that the boy doesn't have time to dodge it. Engine and Rudo were surprised by the action of Semiu. However, the fork didn't hit Rudo, but it hit the flies flying in front of Rudo's face. Semiu welcomed Rudo and said that she is pleased to meet Rudo, the up-and-coming rookie. The receptionist just killed the fly in a snap and added that Engine had already told her about Rudo, but Semiu still likes to see Rudo in person. Semiu started to fix her posture and put his fingers to the side of her glasses while looking directly at Rudo. She will use her power to see the potential of Rudo. The young boy was so clueless about the potential that Semiu mentioned, so Engine explained to Rudo that Semiu's jinki is her glasses. Because of the glasses of Semiu, her kinetic vision increases, and if Semiu goes all out, she can even see through a person's true nature. Rudo was surprised since he was not aware that a jinki could be used like Semiu's power. As Semiu focuses her power on her glasses, an energy started to emit, and her glasses glowed as she used her jinki to see the power and potential of Rudo. Rudo is just standing, wondering what Semiu is doing and thinking about what the receptionist can see and say about his potential. They are waiting patiently for what Semiu will say. The receptionist's eyes started to widen as she used her power towards Rudo because all she could see was pitch black and nothingness. Semiu can't see anything in the potential of Rudo. Semiu was stunned and speechless. She didn't move for a minute. Because of Semiu's reaction, Engine and Rudo panicked and rushed towards the receptionist to ask what Semiu saw in Rudo. Semiu started to calm down and slowly explained what she saw. She explained that Rudo's physical ability is high to begin with, so there's no need to train Rudo from scratch. She added that Rudo's harmonization with his jinki is outstanding, but it's not stable enough, so Rudo needs to train to use his powers naturally. The fear on the face of Rudo and Engine vanished at what they heard. Then Engine asked if that was all that Semiu saw. So Semiu started to speak again while Rudo was waiting and overthinking what the receptionist might say. Semiu insisted that Rudo got shit all over his neck. It makes Engine laugh while Rudo tries to check his neck, if it's true. He confirmed it as he touched his neck, so Engine just continued laughing at him. Engine added that it's the reason why Rudo is being swarmed by flies and insisted that Rudo should not play with shit again. Engine just continues laughing at Rudo, who is insisting that he wasn't playing with shits. Since they are done with Semiu, Engine expresses his gratitude to the receptionist and said that they will just meet you with the boss. While they are walking, Engine noticed that there's something wrong with Semiu since she uses his power to Rudo, but he doesn't mind it and just continues walking to meet the boss. While the two are on their way towards the office of the boss, Engine explained to Rudo that there are about 100 janitors, combatants, guards, and supporters. He added that the janitors stay at different bases depending on the area they're cleaning up, so it's rare for all of the janitors to gather in the headquarters together. Because of that, Engine asked Rudo if the clueless boy want to meet the janitors for a moment. Engine insists that there are only a few of the janitors present in the headquarters that day, so he thinks that it won't take long to introduce Rudo to the janitors. However, as they open the door of one of the rooms inside the headquarters, a bunch of janitors are inside waiting and busy with their own things. Rudo and Engine caught the attention of the janitors, who are all looking at them as they enter the room. There are different kinds of janitors who stare at them and do not say anything. Since Engine saw that there were a lot of janitors present in the room, and it would take them so much time to introduce Rudo to each and every one, he asked Rudo they do the introduction to the other janitors later, after they speak with the boss. They started walking again and climbed the stairs till they reached the boss's room. Right after Rudo saw the door of the boss's room, he immediately mentioned to Engine that he would ask how to get to his city quickly. Engine immediately stops Rudo and asks to hold on. He clarifies if Rudo will just gonna say to the boss to tell him a way to go up the city the moment he meets with the boss. He explained to Rudo that he already told the boy that information is valuable no matter what, and getting it isn't as simple as the boy thinks. He insisted that in exchange, Rudo should tell Engine directly that the boy will be working as a janitor on his own. He added that he said to himself that he needs Rudo to do it, so Rudo should not ask the boss about jinkies, since they don't even know what the boss's jinky is, and they haven't been told of the boss's ability. Engine is explaining to Rudo all he knows, since all the janitors still respect the boss because their true strength stems from complete loyalty. Rudo sighed as he heard every word that Engine explained to him and realized that he would have a long way to go before he'd go back up to his city. They continue walking while Rudo is thinking about what he should say to the boss. Rudo holds the knob of the door and slowly pushes it so they can enter the room, but his eyes widen as he sees the room of the boss. It's an empty room, that's what they saw. No janitors or any humans inside the office. The two were surprised as they opened the door because they thought that the boss was inside, and they were almost ready to speak with the boss, so Rudo could be one of the janitors. From their back, the receptionist called Engine, saying that she forgot to tell Engine about it. Semiu, the receptionist, explained that the boss is on a business trip at the moment, and they won't be returning for a while. Rudo and Engine were disappointed not just because the boss was not there, but Semiu had forgotten to tell them before they walked and climbed the stairs. Rudo can't believe that Engine just casually says goodbye to Semiu and apologizes to him since the boss is away. The boy also heard it and got mad while asking what they're going to do then if the boss won't come back for a while. Engine asked Semiu before the receptionist left, and he asked if the boss had told them when they would be returning. Semiu just shows a pose that she doesn't know, meaning that the boss didn't tell them. Because of that, Engine thinks that it's too capricious despite being on top. Out of nowhere, Ryo, who is listening to the conversation between Semiu and Engine, showed up and insisted that it would be a long time before the boss returns. Then she asked Rudo to observe them on their cleanup work instead. She added that Rudo can't officially be a janitor without meeting the boss anyway, so he asks Rudo to be their apprentice for a while. Ryo walked towards Rudo, who was so uncomfortable as Ryo got her face closer to Rudo and said that she wanted to know more about Rudo. Since Rudo doesn't have any choice, he comes with Ryo to observe and becomes an apprentice. They get to the location and wear protective gear. Ryo explained that this is an easy request for them, but Rudo should carefully observe their cleanup work to gather information and tactics. The girl winked at the boy as Rudo looked at Ryo. Earlier, before they gathered at the location, Semiu explains the details of the request to Engine and Rudo. The receptionist explained that it's from the residents of the town near a contamination zone. There are small aberrant beasts approaching the barricade, and they need a janitor to clear the area just to be safe, as requested. Rudo asked what a contamination zone is and where it can be located, so Semiu asked him if Engine hadn't told Rudo about it yet. Engine insists that he told Rudo that the contamination zone is the dump site area, so Rudo could easily understand it. Because of that, Semiu said that she will explain to Rudo the necessary terminologies on behalf of Engine, whom she called a dimwit. There is a division down in the abyss. The areas where humans can live are called safe zones, while the areas contaminated with garbage and inhabited by the aberrant beasts are the contamination zones. Semiu added that the area where Rudo fell is one of the most dangerous in the contamination zone. It was called the Forbidden Zone, and the receptionist is very serious while telling this to Rudo, who falls into the Forbidden Zone. Semiu also explained that so far, there are only 6 Forbidden Zones have been identified, and the average person dies almost instantly once they enter the Forbidden Zone. She elaborated that even the givers couldn't handle the beasts that had gathered there. Semiu mentioned that it was just a miracle that Engine was there when Rudo fell, so she asked why Engine was in the Forbidden Zone to begin with. Engine explained that it's nothing in particular because he's just taking a stroll. Semiu just never mind about it and remind Rudo to have a mask on as much as possible when entering the contamination zone. As Semiu gave the mask to Rudo, she strictly reminded him that toxic substances can cause serious illness if inhaled. Going back to Rudo, he is now together with Ryo while remembering all the reminders of Semiu telling him that if he doesn't wear a mask in the Forbidden Zone, he will die in about 15 minutes, so Rudo just wonders in his mind about how long he was breathing there. Rudo roams his eyes around the contamination zone they are in to finish the request. As Rudo saw it again, he realized that there's junk everywhere, and looking back when he was in heaven or the city where he came from, he thought to himself, what is it like in the abyss? But he had no idea there were people living in such a place as the abyss. The boy questioned himself if anyone up there in his city is aware of the abyss, or did the people knowingly dump junk and people in the abyss? However, Rudo's sadness was turned into excitement as his love for garbage and scrap weighed more than thinking about whether the people above are aware or not. He thought that the contamination zone was a treasure trove for him, and he wanted to take them all back and fox them. The other member of the party started to move, and it caught the attention of Rudo, who asked Ryo, since he had always been wondering on are the other guys were with them. Ryo explained that the other people they are with are janitors too, and they were called supporters. Ryo explained that the supporters may not have the abilities of a giver, but they are valuable colleagues who support the janitors. Rudo was shocked to see the hand of one of the supporters reaching him. The supporter asked to shake hands with him as a way of saying hello, while saying that it's nice to meet Rudo. Because of that, Rudo grabs the hand of the supporter to shake hands as a sign of respect. Rudo's hand creaked as the supporter shook his hand, leaving him powerless. Ryo just laughed at Rudo, asking if the supporters are amazing. Ryo explained that the supporters are super cool, and it's great that their grips are so strong because they could smash an aberrant beast's armor. Rudo insists that he knows he feels safer with the power types, and it has always been a big help, but in his mind, he is thinking whether he will be able to keep up with the other. Rudo thinks that no matter how easy the request, as an apprentice, he has to do the work right. While Rudo is talking to himself, Ryu is called by one of the supporters. Above them is one of the supporters using binoculars to confirm the location of the aberrant beasts. The beasts started to come out from the darkness and garbage. It looks like the aberrant beast they fought before, but it's so small and has a huge number. Rudo was surprised by the number of the aberrant beast, and for him, it's a lot, so he started to panic. Due to what Rudo saw, he insisted to Ryo that he hadn't heard anything about it being a large herd, so there's no way this is an easy request. Ryo just calms Rudo and says that it's all right because the beast in front of them moves stupidly and isn't even strong. Ryo asked Rudo to look at the beasts that are banging their heads against the barricade but feel nothing. She explained that it's the reason why they're perfect for Rudo's observation, so the boy is lucky. But Rudo is clueless and wondering about it. Rudo is thinking that what Ryo said is true, that those beasts are more docile than the aberrant beasts he had first encountered, so he is wondering if the beasts have individual differences. The aberrant beast continues banging its head against the barricades, and Rudo saw and thought that the beast looked like an animal. The beast, which looked like an animal, started to break their heads and develop cracks on it as they continued banging the barricades. A horde of beasts started to rush towards the barricades, banging their head to enter. As Rudo saw the beast start to make cracks in the barricade, his eyes got bigger, and he insisted that the beast was not docile at all. He has tried to get the attention of Ryo, and saying that something worse is coming as he sees that the beast on the other side continues banging the barricades and making small cracks on the barricade, but Ryo says that everything is okay. The barricades got broken due to the powerful force of the aberrant beasts. Rudo insisted that it's not okay because the monster's headbutting is more dangerous than the last one, so they should call reinforcements. Ryo insists that kind of thing is a step up the ladder from the smaller ones because they're stronger, but they're still ideal for training newbies. Ryo explained that it's all that's left of a large herd since that kind came out. Rudo insists that it's quite a lot, and added that if he clears them all up at once, he will be returning sooner. Ryo replied that Rudo is right. She asks that they return sooner and have a welcome party for Rudo. Ryo asked what Rudo likes to eat. Rudo insists that he hasn't officially joined the janitors yet. Ryo replied that then it will be a welcome to the underworld party. Rudo is shaking and asks Ryo how Ryo can be so relaxed, seeing that the beasts are coming towards him. He asked if being a janitor is a life-threatening job. Ryo explained that being a janitor is not a life-threatening job, and to live down in the abyss, it's important to have an easy mind. Rudo was so shocked and talked to himself, thinking that Engine also has an easy mind, and that's what he lacks is an easy mind. Ryo is just standing in front of Rudo, who is so dedicated that he should learn to have an easy mind for sure. Out of nowhere, while the two are speaking, a huge aberrant beast shows up, and it comes from the ground. Rudo's eyes widen as he sees the monsters in front of them. Even though he is feeling nervous, he is trying to have an easy mind just like Engine and the other. Rudo faced Ryo and asked if the situation with the beast was fine while showing a thumbs-up pose. Ryo didn't notice Rudo and was amazed by the aberrant beast that showed up. Ryo walked towards the beast and didn't mind what Rudo was trying to say. She just insisted that she had never seen an aberrant beast as cool as the one in front of them, not the kind to be observed. She insisted that the aberrant beast is a strong opponent that makes her get fired up. Ryo grabs her scissors, showing them to Rudo. She is getting ready to fight the beast. Rudo is just standing still while in his thumbs-up pose, while insisting to himself that everything is all right and he should have an easy mind. Ryo is standing tall, facing all the aberrant beasts without hesitation and fear on her face. Rudo can't believe how brave Ryo is. Rudo saw the scissors that Ryo was holding, and he was so confused that Ryo was planning to fight the beast with just a small scissors. The scissors started to glow and emit a powerful aura, just like when Rudo used his Jinky. Ryo throws her scissors to the sky, while mentioning that before she cleans up the big one, she better sweep up the small ones first. Above the sky, the scissor of Ryo is glowing and spinning, and starts to change its appearance. It gets bigger and into its Jinky form. As the scissors fall, Ryo catches them with his feet. She uses her feet like fingers to control the scissors' direction. Ryo started to move and make time for some spring cleaning. Ryo swung her feet together with the scissors to hit the aberrant beast. It's too powerful and destroys the head of the beast. With just swinging her feet and spinning together with the scissors, she immediately defeated the aberrant beast rushing towards them. Ryo is so powerful, defeating every beast in an instant. The scissors of Ryo are so sharp that they slice up the head of the aberrant beast and make the heads fly in the sky. Ryo's move is explosive and looks like she's dancing. She uses the scissors like it's just holding it, using her feet to cut the monster's head instead of hair. Rudo was so shocked by what just happened because in a glimpse, Ryo finished all the monsters all by herself. Rudo asked what Ryo does, while thinking that Ryo was just swinging the scissors around with her feet, and in an instant, the aberrant beasts were cut off. One of the supporters of the janitors explained that Ryo's jinky are those scissors, and Ryo was called the Ripper. It makes Rudo get more amazed and shocked. Scissors are typically used with the hands, but Ryo uses them basically as a weapon with her feet. Ryo uses the scissors as her jinky, transforming the short scissors into a big one capable of defeating beasts in the abyss. Rudo realizes that everyone has their own way of using things and jinkies. However, while Rudo is thinking about things, one of the supporters holds him and gets his attention. The supporters started to move and pulled up their sleeves to do their jobs. One of them insists to Rudo that the boy should not slack off just because he was observing. After that, Rudo just realized that he's also an apprentice and will be a janitor soon, so the supporter of the janitors is correct. Before he started to help, he noticed that someone was behind his back. Rudo doesn't have enough time to dodge the beast rushing towards him, but luckily, one of the supporters saw it and helped him. Rudo was shocked as he saw, face to face, how the janitor's supporter smashed the face of the beast with just one hand. The grip of the supporter tightened, crushing the face of the aberrant beast. Then he grabbed the face of with both hands. After he grabbed the face of a beast and forcefully lifted the beast. He shouted, calling Ryo as he pulled the beast. Ryo heard the shout of support, who just threw the aberrant beast to the sky in the direction of Ryo, who was spinning using her scissors. Because of that, Ryo stopped spinning and opened the scissors, waiting to cut. The aberrant beast that was thrown to the sky started to fall in the direction of Ryo, who was just standing holding her scissors to cut the beast. The aberrant beast landed directly in the scissors of Ryo and was cut into two as the beast hit the scissors. It was crushed and destroyed by the powerful jinky of Ryo. Rudo is so amazed by how powerful Ryo is while he is trying to observe how the janitors work. Ryo asked the supporters to throw her some more of those beasts. The two supporters followed the order of Ryo and started marching to get more beasts to throw towards the direction of Ryo. Rudo is just watching and can't believe what he is watching. The beasts were completely annihilated by Ryo. Rudo just realized that even if those without the abilities of a giver can't defeat the aberrant beasts, once they have weakened them, the giver will finish them off. The boy was amazed by how the janitors fought together with the supporters. Rudo bowed his head and thought that he would only help until he achieved his goal. On the other hand, Ryo is still destroying the small beast, and as she finishes with the small one, she thinks that it's looking much cleaner than earlier. The area full of beasts earlier was cleaned in an instant, thanks to Ryo and the other supporters. However, there's still one left, the big one that Ryo saved for the last. She started getting ready to fight the aberrant beast in front of her, and started using her jinky again. While Rudo and the other supporters saw that Ryo went for the big one, they got to crush the small fries as much as possible and keep them out of the fight. Rudo, just follow. Rudo saw the supporter walking towards a beast lying on the ground to started crushing the beast. One of the beasts started to move slowly, but it wasn't noticed by the supporter. As the supporter walked, he was bumped by a monster lying on the ground and fell to the ground. The supporter started to stand up right after he fell, but behind him was a monster that had just risen from the dead beast they had defeated earlier. The other supporter asks him to run, but he doesn't have enough time to run away. Before the monster hit the supporter with its claws, Rudo showed up from nowhere, saving the supporter from being killed by the monster. He uses a stick to defend them from the attack of the aberrant beast, which makes the supporter shocked. Rudo explained to the supporter that he joined the janitors to get information, and he is not going to be a hindrance because he can also do what Ryo did when the girl fought the beast. Rudo proudly says that he will show the janitors that he is a giver too. He started to use his jinki, and a powerful aura started to come out from Rudo's gloves. However, Rudo was shocked as the stick he was holding transformed into something. It looks like a web of a spider, or something since he can't control his powers yet. Rudo didn't know what he should do, or how he should use his power, but caught the attention of Ryo, so she immediately looked at the location of Rudo to check. Rudo was so shocked to see that the stick he was holding transform into a form he didn't know. He just uses his power and jinki, but he didn't know how to use them, and the monster is approaching them already. Rudo saw the monster face to face, and he couldn't move a thing as he didn't know what to do and what his power was. Up from the sky, Ryo attacks the monster that will attack Rudo and the others. She smashed the head of the aberrant beast using her powerful jinki. Rudo just looks eye to eye with Ryo while the girl is on the air, saying that she can't believe that Rudo can save someone right in an instant. She recognizes the good work done by Rudo. After Ryo saved Rudo, the supporter apologized for letting his guard down and expressed his gratitude to Rudo and Ryo by bowing his head. The other supporter asked if Ryo was already done cleaning up the big one, so Ryo just answered that she was able to cut the aberrant beast in half. However, she insisted that her attack didn't work on the big aberrant beast. She added that the large beast is not disappearing, no matter how many times she's cut it with her jinki, so she just stops attacking for a while. While on the dump site where Engine left Rudo before, the leader of the group and his gang woke up from somewhere, and they asked what had just happened. The gang is riding something, and someone is controlling it in front. The leader tries to remember what just happened, and realizes that some kid from heaven resists and has a fight with them. While he is trying to remember everything, he asks who the man in front of them is. But the man just answered them with a question too, not answering who he is. He asked where the sky person went, showing a creepy and scary look towards the gang. Going back to Rudo and Ryo facing the large aberrant beast, which was not affected by the attack from Ryo's jinki. They are trying to figure out something on how they can defeat the monster. The supporters started to panic and get scared as they realized that they were facing an aberrant beast unaffected by jinki. Ryo explained to Rudo and the supporter that the vital points of an aberrant beast are identical to those of a living creature, so if she cuts it in half with a jinki, it will die. The girl had already decided. Ryo added that it's still an aberrant beast, so she will just leave it up for now until it stops moving. The supporters leave the monster to Ryo and reply that they will record and report the beast as a new variety and warn the surrounding towns just in case it roams around. Ryo just agreed with it, and Rudo tries to help. Rudo saw Ryo and the other supporters walking away from him doing their jobs. He realized that he didn't help anything in fighting the aberrant beast. Rudo was left alone while Ryo started to jump and rushed towards a monster. Ryo jumped high into the sky and started to attack the beast. She insists that the first thing she will do is to cut the wild locks of the monster clean. Ryo started to slice the monster using her scissors and slide through the body of the aberrant beast, playing like a barber, and her customer is the beast. Ryo continues attacking the aberrant beast like she's playing. She thinks that the beast wants a buzz cut all of a sudden, and insists that she doesn't have clippers with her, so it will take a while for her. She just landed on the head of the beast and started spinning together with her scissors. The attack of the girl is so powerful that it cuts the beast instantly. Ryo stops spinning after she finishes cutting the hair of the monster. The monster is still alive even though Ryo cuts the hair-like thing on the head of the monster. She happily says to the monster that she's done already and thanks the monster for waiting for her to cut its head. Ryo is now standing above the head of the monster that she just attacked. The girl noticed something where she is standing, and it's glowing like a core. She asks the monster if there is something there, but the monster makes her go away from the glowing thing on its head. The monster has gone wild and moves its body like crazy. The ground started to shake because of the movement of the big aberrant beast. Debris is crashing and falling. The ground is shaking, and it's cracking like an earthquake is coming. Ryo was so amazed by what was happening, but the Rudo and the others were getting terrified, thinking they were going to get caught. While the huge aberrant beast continued moving like crazy, stomping and shaking his head, the ground started to crack towards Rudo. The rocky ground where Rudo is standing started to collapse, so Rudo was shocked since he didn't have enough time to dodge or react. The ground below Rudo completely collapsed, causing him to fall along with the rocks, debris, and other objects. For the second time, Rudo is now falling down again, thinking that it happened to him before. In his mind, his goal is to knock down those guys above their city who make him suffer and throw them into the abyss, but he is just falling again. Rudo thinks that he can't even use a jinky, and he ends up dragging Ryo and the supporters down. He asked himself what and why he was doing the janitor job. However, while Rudo is just letting himself fall and think about his failure, one of the supporters rushes towards him and pulls his hands to save him. Rudo was so surprised seeing the supporter helped him and so dedicated to saving him. Rudo was grabbed immediately by the supporter and carried like a sack of rice. While the supporter is carrying Rudo, he starts running away from the monster that has gone wild and crazy. Rudo didn't say or move a thing, but the supporter insisted that he get a grip, even though he doesn't know what Rudo is thinking when the boy froze there. The supporter clarifies to Rudo that if the boy has something he want to do before, and he can't even do it, Rudo should run first, like what they are doing, since they can't face the monster face-to-face yet. The aberrant beast growls and faces towards their direction, rushing towards them while the supporter is running, carrying Rudo. Ryo started to get mad and attacked the monster because she got annoyed by the way the aberrant beast cried. She thinks that since the beast is shrieking a lot, she already knows where the weak spot of the beast is. Ryo uses her jinky, which is the scissors, and flies to the sky to attack the aberrant beast's weak spot. After Ryo hit the weak spot of the beast, it started to crumble and slowly turned into debris and small pieces. The supporter and Rudo were shocked and amazed as they saw that Ryo just killed the aberrant beast. They saw with their own eyes how the beast crumbled into pieces and was destroyed by the powerful attack of Ryo. Everyone rushes towards Ryo after she defeated the monster. one of the supporters asks her if she's okay or has any injuries, and the other asks how Ryo beat the monster. Ryo just nodded and said that she just beat the monster when she pierced through the thing she was holding. Ryo insists that it seems that the huge aberrant beast they just faced is powered by the thing on her hands. The supporter comes closer to Ryo to check the thing on Ryo's hand. He was shocked to see that it was a Jinky that powered up the aberrant beast. They all can't believe what they saw and are wondering what the meaning of what happened. It's new to them to see a Jinky turning into an aberrant beast. They are now trying to figure out what just happened. Back at the janitor's headquarters, Zanka just woke up and was walking through the hallway. His eyes are still closed, but he is still walking as he noticed something in one of the rooms in the headquarters. It caught his attention, so he checked what had just happened. Inside the room, there are a lot of janitors and supporters having fun. There are a lot of glasses of beer clinking with each other, and there are also a lot of people having some conversation. They are all busy celebrating the success of their mission from earlier. As Zanka entered the room, he saw Ryo having fun while eating and drinking. He came closer to Ryo to ask what was going on with them, since it was already late at night. Ryo insists that it's already nighttime, and it's time for them to celebrate. She explained to Zanka that it's a celebration for welcoming Rudo to the underworld party. Zanka can't believe that they held a party like that, because he's pretty sure that those guys just came to the party to drink. Ryo insists to Zanka that it's just fine for everyone to take a break from working. While the two are talking, Zanka notices someone at a vacant table. The table is empty, no food, no drinks, and no people having fun. The only one sitting at that table is Rudo, whose face is on the table and facing the table alone. He is not speaking to anyone or even drinking and eating. Zanka was bothered about it, thinking that the star of the celebration, Rudo, wasn't into it. Ryo explained that Rudo couldn't properly use a Jinky for yesterday's request, so Rudo felt bad about it. Zanka felt bad for Rudo too. He also asked Ryo about yesterday's request, since Zanka heard that there was some weird aberrant beast in the contamination zone. Ryo explained that the report was correct and that, unlike the common aberrant beast, the one they fought yesterday has a different core, and that core is a thing. She added that when they say a thing with lore, they mean it's Jinky. They were all so terrified that an aberrant beast was born from that power, and she also didn't know what to do with the thing. Ryo happily explained to Zanka that she just left what she doesn't know to the higher-ups and went home and grabbed some grub. Zanka just realized that Ryo is just a kid, so it's normal for her to just leave it to the higher-ups. Zanka clarifies to Ryo that when the higher-ups are done discussing, Engine and Semiu will come too. Ryo was shocked that Engine would be coming too. Rudo, on the other hand, is still frustrated and disappointed with what just happened from yesterday's mission. He is just sitting alone, looking at her gloves, which are his Jinky. A man grabbed the chair in front of Rudo and started to sit, explaining that it's only been a day since the mission. He tries to accompany Rudo, who is alone at that table. The man introduced himself to Rudo, and his name is Gris Rubian. Because of that, Rudo also introduced himself too, but Gris already knew his name, since he is the supporter who helped Rudo on the mission they had. Gris explained to Rudo that the boy did great at the mission they had yesterday, but Rudo insisted that he didn't do anything to help the party. Gris insists that Rudo protected Follow from an aberrant beast. Rudo asked who's Follow? Gris pointed to the young supporter with goggles standing on the other table so Rudo could see. Rudo insists that in the end, he couldn't use his powers. Ryo and Gris have to save him just like when he was up in the city. He explained that he easily loses his temper and snaps at everybody ever since, and Regdo's the only one who cleans up all his mess. Rudo added that he has to go back up there as soon as possible because he can't change. Someone will just end up saving him again, and he can't even live up to their expectation. Rudo is blaming himself and seeing himself as a failure. But out of nowhere, Gris says, "Thank you." Rudo was shocked and didn't know what to say to the old man. Gris explained to Rudo that those who see supporters like them for the first time usually look down on them, thinking that they were weak people without abilities or a burden to the janitors. Some of the guys who are now janitors thought the same thing at first, but Gris insists that Rudo seems to be different. The boy is so clueless about what the man is saying. Gris pointed his finger at Follow and explained that Follow joined the janitors to wipe out the aberrant beasts, but someone powerless can't kill them. Gris added that Follow is now nurturing a precious item so that he can be a giver. Gris indicated that ever since Follow became a supporter, Follow said that he will continue being a supporter even if he becomes a giver, since he wants to make those who look down on him eat their words. Gris added that Follow is doing what he can to make his goal happen. Gris asked Rudo, putting aside wanting to be strong and living up to expectations, what it was that Rudo actually wanted to do. Rudo thought about what Gris said, what he really wanted to do. Gris added, before coming down in the abyss, before anything that happened, there must have been a time when Rudo said, "I want to do this." Gris asked Rudo to remember that first and go back to where it all started. Rudo is still thinking about it. While Rudo is thinking, Gris asks Rudo again what he can do to make it happen, since it will just come naturally. He also insists on Rudo having confidence in everything that the boy will do in the future. Even though Rudo has fallen into the abyss, he is still alive and can do more. Rudo was shocked by what Gris said and felt like he's speaking with Regdo. Because of that, Rudo started to activate his power unintentionally. He is about to cry, and energy starts to move towards his body. Then suddenly, Engine came out from nowhere, shoving Rudo's shoulder. Engine insisted that he was so tired, and Rudo was shocked by Engine. Rudo can't believe seeing Engine after a while, and Engine heard that Rudo hasn't eaten anything yet. Ryo added that it's time for the star Rudo to eat, or else Rudo will run out of food. Zanka whispers that Ryo is the one who eats the most. Gris stands up and asks Rudo to eat with him. As the man smiles at him, Rudo remembers his old man Regdo and can't say a thing to Gris. Because of that, Rudo stands and comes with Engine and Gris. He felt that he was not alone anymore, and there were people who really appreciated him now. They started walking to get food and eat together. Going back to the leader of the gang that attacked Rudo, before, he was now with someone and crying. His face is full of blood. The leader of the gang was asking the man in front of him to stop, since he had already told everything he knew to the man. The leader begs and asks for help from a man, since he had already said everything he had to say to man. The mysterious man just said okay and smiled creepily. At the front desk the next day, Semiu started her job as the receptionist for the janitors. She sat on her chair and leaned her back against the chair. The phone rang right after Semiu sat on her chair comfortably. She just looked at the phone and waited to see if it would still ring. The phone rang again, and Semiu picked it up and answered it as a normal receptionist, asking what the janitors could do for the caller. A caller has a request, so Semiu immediately calls the janitors and supporters. Zanka received the request and explained to everyone that there's a new request had come in for them. Semiyu had already gathered the party, composed of janitors and supporters, including Zanka and Gris. Out of nowhere, Zanka has a question in mind. He asked why they have a trainee in the request. Zanka is referring to Rudo, who will be joining the part again. Rudo just looked at Zanka and didn't say anything. Zanka insisted that he is the trainer of Rudo, but that's after Rudo officially joined the janitors, meaning that Rudo is not one of them yet. But Semiyu insists that the reason she called Rudo was due to the nature of the request. Semiyu explained that a merchant passing through the contamination zone was attacked by one of the aberrant beasts, then took an important cargo. She commanded the party to clean it up and ensure to take back the cargo that was requested. Zanka asked what the cargo was about. Semiyu answered that the cargo is a living person who has fallen from heaven. Semiyu clarifies that finding a sky person one after the other is obviously unusual, so they decided that a sky person like Rudo would be better suited to handle the request. She added that Rudo might also find any clues to get back above. Because of what Rudo heard, he panicked and overthought. It was noticed by Gris, and aware that Rudo had a lot on his mind, and asked Rudo to decide whether Rudo wanted to go or not. Rudo answered that he couldn't handle his power to use his Jinki successfully, and he could be a burden again just to be protected by everyone, but it's different since he might find any clue to get back above. Rudo decided to go even though he is thinking about what might happen. The young boy just focuses his mind on finding a clue to get back above. Zanka was not happy and surprised by the decision of Rudo, but Gris was so happy. Semiyu mentioned that she was going to have Engine come, but Engine can't because Engine has another job. However, Semiyu added that Engine told her that Zanka is there, so it will be fine. Zanka was shocked by what he heard from Semiyu. He was happy inside that Engine trusted him that much. Zanka was speechless and shocked by what Engine said to Semiyu. The party travels towards the location where the request came from. Zanka led the group because he was in a mood because of what he heard from Semiyu. He insists they got a job and they have to do their absolute best. While the party is walking towards a location, Rudo saw that Gris doesn't have any weapon with him, so he asks if Gris has any weapon that he uses to fight the monster. Gris answered that he has a knife for self-defense, but he mostly uses his bare hands and is used to it. Follow insisted to Rudo that Gris actually has an amulet, even though Gris doesn't have an actual weapon. Follow added that Gris prays for everyone's safe return before each job, and that Gris is a nice guy. Because of that, Gris felt embarrassed and insisted that Follow should not say that to others. Gris showed Rudo his amulet and explained that it's just some cheap stuff that he got from a stall nearby, and insisted that there's nothing wrong with praying, so he guessed that it's fine. Out of nowhere, the two noticed someone behind them, and they both got shocked. The two were so surprised by the person behind them and asked who the person was. The person is wearing a mask too, and she says thank you to the two for coming. She insists that she is the merchant who made the request, and she is there to show the janitors where the aberrant beast is. Rudo can't believe that he is now facing the merchant who saw a sky person like him. The merchant just bowed at him, and Rudo didn't know how to respond. Rudo clarified to the merchant immediately if the one that the merchant is saying is really a sky person. He also asked where the merchant found the sky person. It was followed by another question from Rudo, asking if the merchant had heard anything from them or what kind of person the sky persons are. The merchant answered that she found the sky persons by chance while transporting some goods, then took custody, and she also added that the sky persons were unconscious, so she didn't ask anything. The merchant also insisted that she was worried for the Sky Person, so she wanted to get them back from the aberrant beast as soon as possible. Due to what Rudo experienced before, he asked if the merchant was trying to make money off of the Sky Persons. The merchant insists that she did not, and she's really worried about the Sky Person's situation with the aberrant beast. In Zanka's mind, he thinks that the Sky Persons have piqued his interest. He also wonders if the aberrant beast will always attack humans it sees, so it's highly unlikely the Sky Persons are still alive. However, he also wonders why an aberrant beast would bother abducting someone. Zanka thinks that there have been a lot of weird mutations lately, ever since Rudo came to the Abyss. The merchant led the way to where she saw the aberrant beast and told the party that the location of the beast and the Sky Person is inside the building in front of them. Rudo asked if the merchant is sure about the location of the beast and the Sky Person because they are now standing in front of a building. The merchant just replied that the beast ran away inside the building, so the group started to enter. Rudo is so focused on seeing another Sky Person other than him, so they all enter the building without hesitation. The group doesn't have any idea where the aberrant beast is hiding. Zanka commanded everyone to stand by. The merchant noticed someone on the other side of the building, and she immediately showed it to Rudo, saying that it was the Sky Person. The merchant insisted that Rudo go before it's too late for them. The merchant pushes the group, asking them to be quick and hurry. Zanka insisted that the merchant was rushing them, and Gris was wondering if the aberrant beast was really that dangerous because the merchant was pushing them. While the merchant was pushing the group, Rudo noticed that the Sky Person that the merchant was telling them was not human at all. He was so shocked to see that it was not a real person. The merchant just continues pushing them and rushing them to hurry for the Sky Person. As the group was pushed to the center of the building, the ground shatters and collapses in an instant, making Rudo, Zanka, Follow, and Gris fall. All of them are not ready for what happened, and it's too late for them to dodge or jump and leave the collapsing ground, so Rudo and the others just fell. They all fell and stumbled down to the basement of the building. It looks like they were trapped, and Rudo noticed that the floor suddenly turned muddy. The merchant above them asks them if they are all right, so all of them look towards the direction of the merchant. Zanka and Rudo are not answering the merchant, but Gris insists that everyone is safe and asks about the place since they are looking for the Sky people who were abducted. The merchant pointed her finger at Rudo while saying that the Sky Person was right in front of them. Rudo was shocked by what just happened. After the merchant pushed them and told them that he was the Sky Person, the merchant melted like it was just mud. While they are all busy analyzing what just happened, they hear footsteps walking towards them. They were all shocked to see two people holding lights, and one of them recognized Rudo as one of the Sky people who's a giver. Zanka saw the two men show up, and he sat as he recognized them. Zanka already understood the reason why he had thought that something seemed weird to him earlier. Now that he saw the purple torch lamps that the two were holding, he realized that the two had set them up. The guys who set them up are the Vandals, and their goal is to take the Sky Person, who is Rudo. The two just give them creepy looks and smiles. Rudo was clueless about the Vandals, so they asked the others. Gris explained to him in the simplest way that the Vandals in front of them are a group of bandits in the Abyss. He added that the Vandals are originally just a bunch of thieves, but a few years ago, the Vandals became more vicious, and he heard that the Vandals are also involved in some shady experiments. While he is explaining to Rudo everything, he added that all of the members of the group Vandals are givers. After explaining, Gris gets the attention of the other supporters and commands the 3 supporters to secure an escape route, and mentions that fighter follow, and he will be escorting Rudo. Gris warned the other supporters to act with caution because there may be other vandals lurking. The supporters listen carefully and understand their task properly. Gris apologized to Zanka because he will be leaving the vandals to him. Zanka just replied that it's his job to handle the pesky ones, so he asked Gris to get out of the building fast. Rudo is hesitating to run and trying to insist to Gris that he can take out the vandals, but while they are running, Gris insists to Rudo that the vandals are not the same as the kidnappers Rudo met before. Gris pulls Rudo and asks the boy to run because they need to go and keep their distance at once. They don't know what kind of power the vandals are using. In Rudo's mind, it's just the same. He is running again. Zanka bravely faced the 2 members of the vandals. He mentioned that the vandals are scumbags and that aiming pretty much for trying to kidnap us sky people. The one member of the vandals started to walk towards Zanka, while the other one sit and wait. Zanka mentioned to the vandals that he already knew that it was only a matter of time before the vandals sniff about the sky people, but he wasn't expecting it to be so soon. He added that Rudo gonna fetch a high price if the vandals sold the sky people Rudo, and the vandals all enjoy themselves for the rest of their lives. Because of that, one of the vandals answered and insisted that they do not seek Rudo to be sold. That makes Zanka shocked. One of the vandals clarified that they want to know more about the heavens, and for that sake, they think that it would be better to hear those information directly from the sky person. The enemy added that they like to know how could the sky person have survived crossing the border alive. Zanka got more surprised hearing about the border. Then he slowly removed his mask while saying that he don't care about the heavens after all. He clarified that the request is a trap to lure Rudo to begin with, and there ain't aberrant beast in the building. He just removed his mask while looking directly eye to eye with the vandals. The vandals member insists that even though they don't have aberrant beasts, they do have clay dolls that needed to be defeated. Zanka looked around and saw that the mud on the floor started to for human forms. There are many clay dolls that started to walk towards Zanka, and they really look like a human with face and body. Because of that, Zanka realized that the creepy lady who led them in the building and the ground that suddenly collapsed at the ability of the member of the vandals. The enemy in front of Zanka just smiled while holding a weapon, which is a jinky. Zanka got mad and started to grab his stick, then tighten his grip on it to activate his power. He immediately swung his jinky to one of the clay dolls near him, making it disappear, and defeated in an instant. He added that it's easy to get rid of something soft like the clay dolls. The enemy shouted and get mad as Zanka hit one of them, saying that Zanka should be careful hitting the clay dolls. Out of nowhere, a clay dolls move instantly near Zanka and make Zanka think that it's a real one. Zanka was so surprised to see that the clay doll that moved melt and a human came out from it trying to attack him. He just realized that a real human was mixed among the clay dolls, and he don't have time to dodge the attack anymore. The other member of the vandals who was inside the clay doll attacked Zanka in full force, making Zanka flew due to a powerful punch. The enemy insisted that Zanka let his guard down and forget that he exists in the battle. The enemy that hit Zanka is Kanza, a tall and slim middle-aged man with brown eyes and a bald head that has black tattoos shaped like dots on his forehead and has multiple necklaces around his neck, as well as a purple scarf. He sports the standard raider outfit as well and wears snowshoes, which is his vital instrument. The other member laughs and insists that she don't blame Zanka since janitors deal with those huge aberrant beasts, so Zanka was not used to the smaller human-like one like that clay dolls. While Zanka is trying to stand up and getting ready to fight, the clay dolls started to move more swiftly and dashes all over him. The clay dolls surrounded Zanka. The enemy started to use her powers and ask if Zanka can see where is the real one. For her, it's just the game that they should play before they kill Zanka. While on the other hand, Zanka is just focused protecting himself from the clay dolls surrounding him and started to attack. He defended himself by hitting the clay doll that just attacked him. Zanka defended himself from the other clay dolls that started to attack continuously, and out of nowhere Zanka didn't realize that a punch came out at his back from a clay doll. Zanka didn't notice the attack from his back, so he don't have enough time to dodge, and while he was busy defending himself from the other clay dolls, one of them slides toward his back. Kanza came out from a clay doll that dashes at Zanka's back, and he throw another powerful punch to the back of Zanka, making the janitor, Zanka, fell on the ground and feel the powerful hit from Kanza. Because of that, Zanka get mad and grab his jinky to unleash a powerful attack, so he rushes towards to the Vandals. However, the member of the Vandals just laughed at him and said that there's one thing she forgot to mention at Zanka, who just slipped because of the mud on the floors. Zanka loses his balance and fell on the ground because of the mud on the floor that was made by the member of the Vandals. Zanka is trying to stand up, but he is shaking and having a hard time to stand because of the mud around him. The lady is just laughing at Zanka, explaining that Zanka might be thinking of wiping out all of the clay dolls with the big swinging attack of Zanka using his jinky, but she insists that Zanka will get stuck if he moves too much. Because of that, Zanka just stopped moving while thinking, but the clay dolls are kept coming to him. The enemy that he is just fighting added that Zanka is the only one who can put up a fight with his current member on the group, since all of member just run. The lady continued explaining that if they immobilize Zanka, it's their victory already. She insists that they will sink deeply down Zanka on where he is standing while they take the sky person. Because of that, Zanka got mad, thinking that it's just a drag for him to have the other members. Zanka madly insists that it's irritating how the Vandals are all hard-headed, but when he shut up and watch, he got to understand that the woman uses the shovel jinky to manipulate mud, and then the guy, Kanzo, has a sort of jinky to strike him. He clarified that he's wrong about what he thought about the guy because Kanzo is just punching him, and the guy's jinky is in his feet. He added that the instant he saw the Vandals, he saw that the guy is wearing something similar to snowshoes, which reminds him before the woman brought out the clay dolls, the guy hunkered down and did something. Zanka analyzed the situation very well and the powers of his opponent. Zanka also mentioned that he heard that snowshoes make it easier to walk on unstable ground, so he realized that the guy must have been chosen as the lady's accomplice, so he won't sink in the mud made by the woman. Zanka just smiled at the two, thinking that the man and the woman who he is fighting right now is a perfect match. The two members of the Vandals were shocked on how Zanka analyzed the situation and their powers. Kanza get mad and asked if Zanka is making a fool of them. He insists that Zanka's situation isn't going to change because it's going to get worse since he knows the powers of the two. Zanka confidently stand and get ready to fight the Vandals. He explained that he may not have as much experience with fighting human like them, but the two should not see him as a weak one. He insists that he is the one who knows his jinky very well, so he is more powerful than the Vandals think. Zanka added that he have perfectly memorized his jinky's weight, smell, and feelings. Even asked about the mood of his jinky that time. He listened to it without fail every day and never missed taking care of it every single day. Zanka continued explaining that he know even how much force to use and how his jinky feels when he swing it, where it will hit, where it will fly, and in what direction. He confidently say that he knows everything about his Jinky and insist about his real point on saying everything about his Jinky. Zanka smashed the ground using his Jinky with full force while saying that he can also do other thing using his Jinky. The ground shake and a powerful aura came out from Zanka and his Jinky, making the things around them flew. As his Jinky hit the ground, everything went black, and he easily saw everything in his range that widened, covering the whole ground inside the building. Everything, even the clay dolls, slows down for him. Zanka activated his power and tightened his grip to his stick Jinky. It shake, and a path was shown to him on how he can easily get through the clay dolls towards the enemy. Zanka saw the location of the two members of the Vandals and getting ready to attack as he see a clear vision on what he should do and where should he go to attack. In an instant, Zanka moved swiftly and immediately hit the two Vandals member with his stick, making the two enemy defeated and became unconscious. As he dashes, the two enemy don't have time to react and dodge, so it was end up receiving a powerful hit from him. Zanka feel relief as he defeated the two members of the Vandals and just taking his time to get rest for a bit, thinking that the Vandals members are all stubborn, so the two get down with a punch. While Zanka is resting after the fight, a man came out from the dark shadow, and Zanka didn't notice that the man is just walking towards him, getting closer to Zanka. Suddenly, the man whispered to Zanka's ear and said that Zanka is also stubborn and will be get down by him. Who is the mysterious man that behind the back of Zanka? Did Zanka really defeat the two members of the Vandals? Could the other member of the supporters find an escape route? What will happen to Rudo, Gris, and the other? If you want to find out what will happen next, follow for more manga and manhwa stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Share it with your friends and ring the bell button to keep updated for the new manga and manhwa stories. Thanks.